Hi everyone, I'm back again. Guess what? Service time for the Corvette transmission. Very excited about this. Weighed up my options. I did think of doing it at the dealer, but this is coming up to its 3 years. No more warranty left, so I thought why not do it myself, like so many others on YouTube are doing. So yeah, I think there's a couple in Australia already at that point and contemplating doing it themselves, so here we go. So the car's on the ramp, but there's a few things we need to do in order. First thing is actually having the materials, and if you look down here, what we've got is 20 litres of DCT fluid FFL4. Just purchased that, and I've also got the OEM filter. So the fluid, it'll take about 12 litres I believe in total. I will be adding the 2 litres for the tracking, just in case I do track days. And the filter itself still sealed at the moment, but pretty much as I've seen on photos and things. If I look in the box, it's got the 2 O-rings and it's got the new bolts, single-use bolts, ready to be replaced as well. So that's the first thing, getting those, and there's a few ways to do it. What I've ended up doing is buying the fluid straight from GM, but I did get a good trade price of $1,100 in total for that fluid, for 20 litres. Keeping in mind I only need about 12 litres. I will have 8 litres spare. Now I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I can try and sell the 8 litres to someone else that needs to do this. Will only be up for another 4 litres to complete their flush. Keeping in mind this has got a shelf life on it, so you don't want it sitting around until the next time it's due. Yeah, so $1,100 for that, and this was $127 through Amazon. So as I said, I did look at a few options. I didn't want to buy an aftermarket Chinese one. I wanted to stay OEM, and I looked at options here and abroad, and that seemed to be the best value for money. So that's what I got so far. Now I was quoted $2,500 for the actual flush, plus a service, and when I asked what the service was, they essentially said it was an oil and filter change. The rest of it's just a general inspection. So in other words, an oil and filter change. Just in the process of taking this rear cover off. What you'll see, I've always said this was a daily driver. Just sit on my stool. Now look at the muck on this cover. So I'll be doing a lot of cleaning and washing as I go. I don't think it's ever going to get this dirty again, but who knows, maybe I'm wrong. We can always get caught in the rain from time to time, and I have driven this in the wet since I bought it myself, so never say never. But yeah, she's a little bit dirty at the moment. I've only got a couple more bolts to take this back cover off. Then there's the aluminium tray. Okay, so the first cover is off and reveals the back of the transmission. These are actually Torx bolts, and you may be tempted just to use a socket, but they could potentially slip and burr, and you don't want to be burring these bolts. So for the sake of keeping everything in good order, buy yourself a set of Torx sockets. You'll need those to attack these bolts, and I'm sure many other bolts within the car as well. And I'm using the E16, I think it is. The bolt themselves, they are fairly long, and they're a fine thread locker on it as well, that blue stuff, which makes it quite tight to come out. Okay, got some extra light just to see what I'm doing, but almost done. A couple of bolts, and one there, one there. There we go. We have the plate off. Nothing much to look at. There's no leaking oil or anything. It certainly captures plenty of stones and dirt and muck, that's for sure. To get it off, I wasn't sure if these bolts up the front would need to come out. I thought maybe it just slips under, but the bolt does go right through the aluminium plate as well. So that means you need the Torx bolt, which is the E16, I think. That's marked as E16, but then you also need 13mm socket, normal hex head, and 10mm socket, because yeah, there's a bolt up the end which you need to take out, which is a smaller one, and these ones which are 13mm. Other than being a little bit dirty with muddy water, there's no leaks. I can see a slight oil stain where the filter has been changed before, which is a good sign. The next step is actually taking the fluid out of the transmission and the filter, and to do that I'm going to warm it up, cycle through all the gears in the transmission, and once I've done that and it's up to temperature, I'll drop the fluid and the filter, and we'll go from there. Now, there's a lot of discussion on YouTube and forums about the flush that you do with the transmission, and to be honest, I've seen every argument supported by, you know, technical data and engineers from Chevrolet. Some of them say if you have the ability to do the flush through the handheld device, then do it. Others say driving your car regularly will still flush the fluid through the filter before you take the filter out. So I'm going to bring it for a particular drive where I use all the gears manually, including reverse. Just get it up to temperature, and I'll go from there. Okay, so I'm just back from my drive. You'll see the transmission temperature is up to 78. Oil temperature is up to 87. You'll also see transmission fluid's 92% at the moment, so officially doesn't need to be changed immediately, but I've got everything, and it's at 3 years this month, so yeah, I'm all ready to do it now. So now that the engine's warmed up, I think I'll get into it. Take the filter out and then drop the oil. Just to give you an idea of the C8 when you get back home. You've got these cooling fans running on both sides of the engine, both sides of the car. So as soon as you get out of the door, you hear that rushing air with the fans doing its best to cool everything off. But I have been sort of stabbing it, running through the gears. So, and I had it in Z mode as well, which puts it in the full track mode with traction control off. So yeah, I was doing the best to cycle the fluid through the transmission. So hopefully that'll help, and I won't burn myself either. Okay, so the cap, where am I? Can't really see where I'm pointing. Yeah, the cap for the filter has 4 bolts, which are all E10. As far as the Torx socket goes, it's an E10, and these literally can be undone with one hand, unscrewing it. So they're not tight. It just gives you the indication of how tight you need to put them back in, because you don't want to over torque them and strip the thread or anything. It's aluminium that you're working with, so you don't want to strip the thread out or you've got all sorts of problems. But it does have thread locker, remember, and they're single-use bolts. So the thread locker will ensure that once you've done them up with a slight nip by hand, they won't be coming undone again, and there's no sign of any leakage there either. So next step, I'm going to get an oil pan that I can drop the fluid into so I don't make a mess. Okay, so I've taken out the filter, DCT filter, and it popped out without too much. Just looking at the fluid, and it's very murky. I'll be interested to cut this open and see if there's anything that it's actually filtered out. But yeah, just looking at the fluid that come out around the filter, it's not as clean as I was expecting to see it, so I think this is well overdue. So I've got the new filter just about to go in. You just pop that up. I've already given the O-ring a slight smear of oil around the O-ring, and that pops up into the cavity until it clips into place like that. Then the cap, which I've also cleaned, has an old O-ring, and the box comes with a new O-ring, so I put everything. Yeah. You've probably got light behind you so you can't see anything. So there's the old O-ring, and here's the new O-ring. And again, I'll give it another quick wipe down, just from that groove. Okay. Slide this on carefully so we don't stretch it too much and we don't twist it. There you go. Just to help it sit and slide into the housing. And let me slide it up there. Okay. There we go. Now we have our bag of new bolts, which it's hard to see, but these have that pink on the bolts are actually Loctite. So might actually use the socket since. So now I'm just going to go back to where I started and just give it another 1/8 of a turn, nothing more than that. So we're dropping the oil. Now this is on a level surface at the moment, and I've never seen anyone mention anything about tipping it over to get more fluid out of the drain hole, but at the moment we've got about 6 litres showing in that container, and not even 2. Oh no, sorry, about 3. So 6 and 3 is 9 litres that we've got out of there. That includes the minor fluid that came out with the filter, so either some of it's, or a lot of it's still in the transmission, or it was low to start with. But I do plan on just jacking this side of the car up, seeing if some more fluid will flow out of the transmission sump. So I've only just jacked it up very slightly at this stage. Don't know if you can see the angle on the car. It's only enough to put a slight amount of pressure on it, take the weight off the suspension a bit, and it definitely started increasing the flow out of the transmission sump. So if you want to fully drain the oil, I would suggest keeping that in mind, having that side lifted slightly. So I've transferred the fluid into a 10 litre container. It does have graduations on the side and it's a little over 9 litres, so either there's plenty of fluid left in the transmission, which I have jacked up the side a little bit more now. So the rear wheel is off the ground, the right wheel is off the ground. And it did start to pour more fluid out. It's down to a drip, so I reckon it was just low on fluid, to be honest. I've noticed everyone avoids saying how much to put in. They just say fill it until it gets to the fill hole. So it may be less than everyone thinks. So after a good 20 minutes letting it drip, I've put the bolt back in the sump, dropped the suspension back down so the wheel's on the ground. I'll pass a clear tube up to where the filler is, which is the bolt just up there. So with the wheel off, there should be a clear path to get to it. One thing you got to remember, a lot of people seem to overlook it, is this has got to be shaken to ensure all of the additives are mixed before you actually use it, especially since it's 20 litres and you don't need 20 litres. Yeah, some people are very specific about mixing that and other people seem to forget it altogether. So I've got a 17mm spanner and that's on the filler bolt, which is right alongside the cap for the filter, DCT filter. So they done do that, and then I have got some clean clear tubing, which I'm hoping that diameter will fit through the filler hole near perfectly. Then I'll be lowering the car down, and I've made clearance so I can put the tube out through the wheel arch and put the funnel on the end of it and fill it up. Okay, we're all ready to do the fill, and the way this is happening, I've got the hose inside the filler plug, which you may be able to see, and as I zoom back you'll find it's coming out through where the wheel arch, and I've got a funnel on the end of it, and we will be pouring using the small spout into the funnel. So now that I've got the fluid in, I've decided I'm going to backtrack a little bit. What I did was I lifted up the left side of the car. So I should have kept the car level and filled the transmission up until it leaked out the filler hole. What I'm going to do is take the filler plug out. I know that I've got the normal fill. Then I will jack the side of the car up and measure out 2 litres so I know I've got the exact 2 litres. The reason I want to do this is because I have read if you overfill it, it can be just as bad as underfilling. So I don't want to run the risk of having too much fluid in there. So here we go. Okay, so I've got my spanner on the bolt. Got my clean bucket. I've cleaned all down the side where the oil might flow, because I don't want the oil getting contaminated. pretty much there. She'll trip all day if you let it. But definitely the level is down to the standard fill height now. So I'll put the plug back in and get the car jacked up. And I just need to find a clean 2-litre jug so that I can make sure that I get the specified 2 litres into it. So I've got a 1 litre jug here, there on the line, and I'm just curious to see how much came out of the transmission. So here we go. Okay, so it wasn't too bad. Not quite a litre, but not far off it either. So that's encouraging. I'll just have to jack the car up a couple of extra inches from where I had it, and hopefully that'll give me the ability to get the 2 litres in. But bringing her down again. And get the wheel off. So I've got my first litre ready to go in. Got my car jacked up. It's 13 inches off the ground, that rotor. I'm sure you can see the angle it's on. I don't think I'm going to get the 2 litres in at this stage, but I've got my little funnel and the hose heading into the filler. If you can see it right there. So that's the filler hole there. So just going to be pouring this fluid in and hoping that I can get 2 litres in. I can jack it up a bit more if I need to. I don't want to go any further than I have to. A little precarious the way that it needs to be jacked up, but it's solid enough. But yeah, don't want to risk fate. Just do it as I need it. Anyway, see how we go. Well, I did it. I've got the 2 litres in. It's not pouring out, so obviously I had the car on enough of an angle to accept it. The full 2 litres, so emptied my jug, 1 litre each, two of those, and that's down to about 8 litres, which is where I initially thought it would be. So we're looking good all round. Just need to put that plug back in, get this off the jacks, and see if it actually feels any different. I know it will be different because that original transmission fluid was very sooty. No hard chunks. I don't know if I've gone through it already, but there's nothing of any significance in the pan. Nothing chunky. It was just sooty throughout the oil, which, you know, the filter would be there to catch anything big. And I might see if I can cut that open still to have a look at it, but looking at the fluid, it definitely needed changing in my opinion, but nothing of any concern that came out of it, so job done. So the last step is putting the wheel back on and torquing it up. So it's actually 140 foot-pound, which is almost the capacity of this torque wrench. It goes 150, but 140 foot-pound isn't light, so it takes a bit of weight on a rod that long. So if you've only got a little wrench in the and you're caught with a flat tire or something, it's going to be pretty difficult to get that off. But anyway, 140 foot-pound for the wheel nuts. So just finishing off my video, I thought I'd just talk you through it very quickly. I spent plenty of time mucking around changing that fluid first time, so yeah, I didn't know what to expect, but as you've seen, the only error I made was having the left side of the car lifted up when I was doing the initial fill. Apart from that, everything else went smoothly. So when you do it, just make sure that the car's level to put the standard fill in, and if you're going to be tracking your car, then you can lift the left side to put the extra 2 litres in, and no more than 2 litres. But yeah, I've been really happy with the car so far. The gear changes are lightning quick. It's probably got to be the best car I've ever driven as far as gear changing goes. Very happy with it in that regard, so I'll consider it a complete success. And you saw the condition of the fluid after 3 years. It definitely needs a full flush, so when you're emptying it, make sure you do try to lift the right hand side of the car to get as much of that old fluid out before refilling. Anyway, try to stay positive and leave any comments or feedback. Hopefully you've liked it and you can give me a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I've already done a service since I filmed the transmission flush, and I'll throw that up as well very soon. Haven't been doing any videos lately, but I'm hoping to get back into it again. Anyway, all the best. See you again soon.